What's up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician, Dane Martinez, and today we have some interesting moves that have been made by the green and white and what it could mean for the NFL draft. I keep on telling you, see what positions Darren Moji leaves left unfilled, and that will give you a read on what targets they may have for the NFL draft. We've been talking about offensive tackle, right tackle with Membu and Campbell the whole time. A lot of people have been talking about tight end. One of the other positions we have been talking about was wide receiver, right? There were times when we thought about guys like Ted McMillan at number 7 overall. There were times when we talked about guys like Golden, like Igbuga out of Ohio State, like Luther Burden that could have been a look for them in the second round. And we all thought pass catcher was a need. There was even talk about Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, and others. But it looks like the Jets quietly and at value have gone ahead and pretty much completed their wide receiver room, okay? Why? Because it looks like they may be bringing back Alan Lazard, of all people. I've always said I didn't think they were going to bring back Alan Lazard, mostly because he was at $11 million. Remember, he signed a 4-year, $44 million deal a few years ago, but a lot of people just felt that that was a favor to Aaron Rodgers. When they had Aaron Rodgers, they were just bringing his boys. Remember, they brought in Randall Cobb, for goodness sakes, and Alan Lazard was kind of a high-priced free agent wide receiver they brought in at that time. I said they weren't going to keep Lazard at that number. And guess what? They didn't keep Lazard at that number. Alan Lazard has restructured his deal to stay with the Jets. He took an $8.5 million pay cut to stay with the Jets. His new deal is for $2.5 million with $1.75 million guaranteed, and he gets to be a free agent at the end of next year. This pretty much rounds out the wide receiver room, okay? You got Garrett Wilson. Now you have 3 veteran wide receivers that can play that wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 kind of move in Alan Lazard and Josh Reynolds and Tyler Johnson. Remember, they brought Josh Reynolds in for 1 year, $5 million. They now have Lazard on the books for 2.5. And of course, you have the 3rd round pick from last year, Malachi Corley. Now, listen, Lazard does play a role, right? He can block. We all know about that. He is 6'5", 227 pounds. Last year, he only had 37 catches, 530 yards. He did have 6 touchdowns, as he was one of Rodgers' targets kind of in the red zone. But I think this is interesting, not only because they bring him back, right? But they bring him back at a heavily reduced number, which is definitely good for the cap space of the Jets. And it now means, in my opinion, it's offensive lineman, it's tight end, and then it's not even wide receiver. We thought wide receiver was kind of one of the needs going into the draft. We talk about even like guys out of Ole Miss, right? Trey Harris, I believe, and others. But now they've got 5 with Xavier Gibson, 6 wide receivers in the room already. So I don't think that is a draft need anymore. I think that boosts the opportunity now for the Jets in the 2nd or 3rd round to go get another defensive lineman. Maybe go get another cornerback in the secondary. It gives the Jets even more flexibility. And the other part is, this dramatically helps our salary cap. So I think this is a fine move all around for the Jets. The Jets now have $27.5 million under the cap. That is the 14th most cap space in the league. So right in the middle. However, the Jets have they have 73 guys on their roster. Out of the 13 teams who have more cap space, only 5 of them have as many players on the roster as the Jets do. So as the Jets continue to kind of make cuts and figure it out, they're going to wind up with even more money. So there you have it. Alan Lazard is going to be, in essence, back with the Jets at a heavily reduced number. And that is a good thing because it helps our cap space and it rounds out the wide receiver room to the point where wideout is really no longer of a need. Are they sexy names with Lazard, Tyler Johnson, Josh Reynolds? No, not necessarily. You add Malachi Corley to the list? Not necessarily. But one of them will overperform and be that number 2 opposite Garrett Wilson. We do it in a way that saves us $8.5 million in the cap, and we do it in a way which kind of X's this out as a huge need for the Jets moving forward in the draft, which allows us to be flexible, I believe, with offensive linemen, tight end, and then maybe D-line or even a cornerback. What it could also be a sign of, remember, we have been talking for a while about two cornerstones that the Jets have, both former defensive and offensive rookies of the year that are in line potentially for extensions. And guess what? Darren Mosey, he knows it too. Check this out. He said recently, there's been a lot of talk. We have several players, whether it's early extensions or otherwise, but those are good problems to have. Right now, my focus is on the draft, and then we'll talk about extensions for whoever that might be. Let me tell you who that might be. That is going to be Garrett Wilson, and that is going to be Sauce Gardner, the true cornerstones of the offensive and defensive side when we talk about young, culture, competitiveness, respectively, right? Check this out. There are rumors now that Garrett Wilson could be north of $25-30 million a year, and they just got about $8.5 million from the Lazard restructuring. So maybe after the draft, some of that savings goes to a Garrett Wilson extension. The other thing it could be is Sauce Gardner. I've been saying this. Cornerbacks have really been resetting the market recently. You saw J.C. Horn of the Carolina Panthers. He got paid 4 years, $100 million. You saw Darryl Stingley over in Houston. He got paid 3 years, $90 million. And these are guys, quite frankly, that are just as good as Sauce Gardner. Sauce might be even better than them. I mean, Stingley had a 74 PFF grade. Sauce last year was 73. Sauce was an all-pro. Sauce was a Pro Bowler twice in his career already. I mean, Surtain over there in Denver was Defensive Player of the Year. Sauce was in the running for that award, not this year, but the previous year. Sauce is only the third player ever to be a two-time Pro Bowl, All-Pro in his first 2 years. The only other players that have done that, Lawrence Taylor and Micah Parsons. That's a pretty good list, okay? So they're going to have to pony up for both Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. And so I think, to be quite honest, part of this savings with Lazard may kind of help that after the draft as well. And I think Mosey knows about that. I'm going to end this, though, and end this week here with a lighthearted piece about the Jets, right? Our guy Sauce Gardner, when we extend him, hopefully, is off the market. Guess what? Sauce Gardner may be off another open market because he and Ice Spice, the rapper, have officially made their relationship public on social media. I mean, Ice Spice and Sauce, they were seen together at the mall. They were seen together at the Vanity Fair Oscars after party. And it looks like they are now an item. Insert what you will about what happens with guys when all of a sudden they fall in love or all of a sudden they get married. But interesting to note, Ice Spice, also a New York City-based rapper with a New York City-based cornerback in Sauce Gardner. Our kudos, our appreciation, our love and respect to the new couple if they have in fact made it public out there on social media. If you don't know Ice Spice, check her out. It's very interesting music. I will not talk about it one way or another, but I did want to let you know that they are apparently an item. So maybe Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift have some competition between football players and entertainers, but maybe Sauce is off of one market and the Jets can extend him and get him off the free agent or the other kind of market as well. But really, the most important parts here are Allen Lazard has in fact restructured with the New York Jets. The Jets are saving $8.5 million, and it really does kind of round out the wide receiver room. Now they've got 5 at least: Garrett Wilson, Lazard, Reynolds, Johnson, and Corley. So it is no longer a pressing need as we go into the NFL draft in a couple of weeks. The pressing needs are offensive line and tight end, and those are the positions they will probably address at number 7 overall, and then again at number 42 overall. Remember, they've got 73, so 3 picks in the top 75. And then I've been talking about D linemen like J.J. Pegues, for example, at pick 110 in the 4th round. But now with another position kind of taken care of, they can go ahead and be flexible with the true positions of need. That'll do it for this episode of Jets Latest. Remember to like this video, watch this video, subscribe to the channel, tell a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend, and do not get fooled by some of these kind of rumor, smokescreen season nonsense that is out there. The Jets are, like Aaron Glenn says, moving in silence in the offseason. It's not about Amari Cooper. It's not about Keenan Allen. It's not about some of the big names you might hear that are out there. They are trying to do this in a measured, kind of deliberate way, and we are starting to see this plan come into focus. A plan that has already gotten going with people reporting the one Jets drive for, off-season workouts when Aaron Rodgers still hasn't even decided if he's going to play or what team he is going to play for. So we are in a good place. Hopefully we keep it going heading to the NFL draft in a couple of weeks, all right? Remember, watch, like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you want to hear more from me, the Spittin' Statistician, I am also the host, as I have told you, of the FTN Fantasy Show. Over on Sirius XM Channel 87, the Fantasy Channel, you can get everything you need to win your leagues and win that cash. Hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on social media at Spittin' Speeds. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. We will be back next week giving you more updates, giving you the latest on the Jets. Jets. Have a great weekend, everybody. We out of here. Peace.